In the fourth question, the following information relates to employee remuneration of the company for the month ended 31st March 2021. Then they are given a table. In the table, name of the employee, Neeta, Geeta, Sita, number of 8-hour days work, then overtime hours work given. Other details of wages are as follows. The rates of employment, rates of payment, normal wage per 8-hour working day, excluding overtime, 400. Overtime rate is twice the normal hourly rate. Contribution to EPF by the employer and employee are 15 and 10% respectively. Overtime payments are not counted for EPF calculation. So on, you are given some details. Prepare the pay sheets of the company for the March 2021. Post the pay sheet information to the relevant accounts in the general ledger through the wages control account. When you draw the pay sheet for the employees, first you need to determine what are the columns you have to draw. The basic salary you require, overtime require, as the deductions, EPF, festival advance, bank loan installment, advance loan installment, EPF. 3 deductions. Including these details, you can draw the pay sheet. Pay sheet. Name of the employee, earnings, under the earnings basic salary, overtime, then the gross salary, deductions, EPF 10%, festival advance, loan installments, then net salary, employer's contribution for EPF 15%, ETF at 3%. These are the details. Now fill the columns. Neeta, Geeta and Sita, the employees, number of 8-hour days worked. Number of 8-hour days worked 25. Then overtime hours worked for the month. For the 8-hour days work, the normal salary is paid. The normal wage per 8-hour working day. In that case, you are given the daily salary. Yeah? For that 8-hour working day, 400. Therefore, to calculate the basic salary, Neeta, Geeta and Sita, $25 into 400, you can take as it is. You can keep the 10,000. 10,000 22 into 400, 8,800, 8,000. How to compute the OT rate? 400 is the normal salary for 8 hours. Therefore, hourly rate is 50. Normal hourly rate is 50. OT rate is 50 into 200. OT hours worked by Neeta 12 into 100, that is 1200. Geeta 6 into 100, that is 600. Sita no overtime. Gross salary should be 11,200, 9,400, here 8,000. EPF is deducted without OT. Geeta 1,000, 880, 800. Contribution to EPF. Yes. A festival advance of 1,200 had been paid to Sita in December 2020. In recovering this amount, the monthly installment is 100. That is by Sita. Sita king 100 adu karanda festival advance. At the request of Neeta, the company has deducted monthly bank loan installment 1,500. That is from Neeta. Right. It is the company practice to pay the wages of any month during the first week of the following month. So when you take the EPF 15% contribution, that should be 1,500 here. Here 15% can kid 1,320. Is this 1,200? Any ETF there? ETF එක නැහැ නේ. ETF නැහැ, no ETF. No ETF. 11,200 minus this 9,000, 8,700 නේ. Here 8,700, මෙතන 9,400, 8,400, 8,520. Here 7,100. These are the values. හරිද මුදාවේ? That is correct. When you state the journal entries, you want a salary account and salary and wages control account, and for the respective deductions you need separate accounts. The gross salary 28,600 salary account debit, credit to salary control account. EPF deduction 2,680 credited to EPF liability. Festival advance 100, this account debit and credit to festival advance. Loan installment, salary and wages control account debit, credit that to loan installment account. Net salary payment 24,320. This should be credited to accrued salary account. Question clearly state that the salary is not paid. accrued salary account credit 24,320. EPF employer's contribution should be debited to EPF expense account and credit that to EPF liability account. This is how you have to do. හරිද? ඒකේ full marks තියෙන කට්ටිය දාන්න බලන්න. I got full marks. නැද්ද? Only 2 3 ඒකේ මං කෝකටත් බලන්නම් කියලා නේ. Number 5. See the fifth one. Given below are extracts of the wages report of Suhada company for the month of May 2021. Earnings, the basic salary, overtime, the gross salary, deductions given, net salary, employees' contributions, employers' contribution. Relevant accounts in general ledger together with the wages control account, you know that, right? You have to start with the gross salary, 45,000, salary account debit, control account credit, all the 3 deductions, loan installment, festival advance and EPF, debited to the salary and wages control, loan installments credit to that account, festival advance to the festival advance account, EPF to EPF liability account. Net salary, the control account debit, cash account credit. Employers contribution of EPF, EPF expense debit, EPF liability credit. For ETF, that is ETF expense debit, ETF liability credit. Number 6. Information pertaining to wages of Mohammed Limited for the month of February 2021 is given. Name of the employee, number of working hours, weekdays, weekends, weekends. Weekly wage rates are as follows. Weekday 40 hours per week at normal wage rate of rupees 100 per hour. Wage rates for overtime hours, weekdays rupees 150 per hour, weekends rupees 200 per hour. Then employee provident fund EPF contributions by employer 15%, employee 10%. In computing EPF contributions, overtime payments are not considered. Wage advances taken during the month, Nimal 5,000. Nimal's monthly distress loan installment of rupees 1,000 is deducted from his salary. The company is advised to deduct Sarat's monthly housing loan installment of rupees 3,000 and pay it to Sahana Bank. Required prepare the pay sheet for the month ended 21st February 2021. Prepare the relevant ledger accounts including wage control account by posting pay sheet information to the general ledger. Right, these are the details. Right. Now, okay. The basic salary is there. Basic salary, then overtime. Deductions EPF, festival advance. EPF advances loan installment ne, right. The same pay sheet I can take. There are only two employees, Nimal and Sarath. Take the two employees. Nimal and Sarath. For weekdays, weekday 40 hours per week. They should work only 40 hours per week. Right? For the first 40 hours for the week, they are paid at the normal wage rate of 100 per hour. Wage rates for overtime hours, then the weekdays, weekend days, so on you are given. There. The Nimal is paid. You just calculate the normal hours Nimal worked. Nimal. Normal hours, then overtime on weekdays and on weekends. The normal hours worked by Nimal for the all 4 weeks, 40 into 4, 160. On weekdays in the first week, 5 hours OT, second week, 5 hours OT, third and fourth weeks no OT, 10 OT hours. On weekends, in the first weekend, he has worked 6 hours, second weekend 4 hours, third weekend 5 hours, in the fourth weekend no hours. Altogether 15 hours on weekends. The normal hourly rate is rupees 100 per hour. This into 100, the normal salary is 16,000 basic. For overtime on weekdays, he is given at 150 per hour. On weekends, he is given at 200 per hour as per the conditions. Here 1,500, here 3,000. Total overtime 4,500. When it goes to the second employee, in front of this I will show the normal hours he also has worked within the all 4 weeks, 40 into 4, 160 hours. That into 100, 16,000. For the weekdays he has worked in the first week no OT, second week 50 means 10 OT hours, in the second week 14, the 14 hours. That into 150. On weekends, only in the last weekend he has worked 4 hours. That into 200. 800 you know මෙතන. Here 2,100. Total overtime 2,900. So the gross salary is 20,500 here, 18,900 here. EPF 1,600 for both. Here 2,400. No ETF there also. Advances taken by Nimal 5,000. Nimal's loan installment 1,000. The company is advised to deduct Sarat's monthly housing loan payment 3,000. Take the net salary 20,500 minus 7,600. Is it 12,900? Is 14,300? Are these correct? Kamudavi. Right. These values are correct. Ne? So බලන්න ඔයාලගේ total එක හරියද කියලා. 32,000, 7,400, 39,400, 3,200, 5,000, 4,000, 27,200, 4,800. Is it required to see the journal entries? Journal entries කියන්න ඕනද? No need me, you know. You have to start with this salary account debit, salary control account credit 39,400. EPF, salary control account debit, EPF liability credit. 5,000 salary control account debit, advance credit. The loan installment, salary control account debit, loan installment account credit. Payment of the net salary 27,200, that is salary control account debit, cash account credit. EPF, EPF expense debit, EPF liability account credit. Hurry. Let's go to the next one. Let's see the next one. Question number 7. Atula, Kamal and Iranda are 3 employees of a company. The following information is given in relation to their salaries for the month of March 2012. Hours worked, Atula, Kamal and Iranda. Hourly rates given. Rate for weekdays, rupees 200 per hour. Overtime rates for the weekend, 1.5 time of the weekday rate. Employees Provident Fund, EPF contribution by employer and employee are 15% and 10% respectively. Employees Trust Fund, ETF contribution by the employer is 3%. Overtime payments are not considered in calculating EPF and ETF. Deductions. Employee contributions to the welfare society per month rupees 200 per employee. Monthly loan installments of Iranda rupees 4,000 required. Pay sheet for the month of March 2012. Salaries control account, EPF payable account and ETF payable account for the month of March 2012. Employee related total expenses for the month of March 2012. Right? This is 2012 advanced level question. For this question, just understand. Sure, I didn't understand. Atula, Kamal and Iranda are 3 employees of a company. The following information is given in relation to their salaries for the month of March 2012. Hours worked, weekdays 40, no weekends. But remember, the question provides not the weekly details. This is the monthly details. Rate for weekdays. Here that clearly says the hours worked, not the days worked. Hours worked 40, that into 200. That is the only where you have to take this. Atula, Kamal and Iranda. Let's see. For the employees, just multiply the hourly rate by the hours worked. 40 into 200, that is 8,000. Monthly salary for all the employees, 8,000. Basic. Overtime only for Kamal and Nirand, 1.5 of the normal salary, that is 300 into 10, 3,000 for each. 3,000 for each. Gross salary in this way. Employees Provident Fund contribution by employer and employee 10 and 15. Overtime payments are not considered there also. $800 each. Here 1,200 each. Here 240. Then employee contributions to the welfare society per month is 200 per employee. Welfare society. Loan installment of around the 4,000. Take the net salary 9,000, 10,000, 6,000. Basic salary 24,000, OT 6,000, gross 30,000, EPF 2,400, welfare fund 600, installments 4,000, loan installment, net salary 25,000, EPF 3,600, ETF 720. Haridoka. Net salary of Atula is incorrect. Yes, 7,000. Umuday. Is it correct? right? Let's see the next one. Question number 8. Sorry, before that one, in the previous, what is the answer for the third part? Employee related total expenses for the month. If you computed, please tell me. So in this one, employee related total expenses, how much? Employee related total expenses, how to compute? Employee related total expenses mean the total of these. Gross salary plus employers contribution of EPF and ETF. The gross salary is 30,000. Employers contribution is 3,600. The ETF 720. 34,320. Matagani. Then next, number 8. Without doing 8 and 9, shall I first do the 10th one? The reason is for the 10th question, you need to draw a pay sheet. 8 and 9, no need to draw the pay sheet, then I can use this one and erase. Sorry. Come to the 10th one, number 10. Number 10. Following details were extracted from Jailath manufacturers for the year ended 31st March 2021. You are given some details for Jailath manufacturers. Category basic salary additions. Production employees, production supervisors, administrative staff, sales employees. All employees are entitled for EPF and ETF. The company has registered for EPF and ETF. EPF contributions are 15% and 10% respectively by employer and employee. ETF contributions by employee is 3%. All the calculation should be based on the basic salary of employees. 2% from the gross salary is deducted from every employee for the welfare fund. Required. Prepare the pay sheet for the year ended 31st March 2021. State in the category of employees. Calculate the salary related expenses stated in profit and loss statement under following categories: direct wages, production overhead, administration expenses, distribution expenses. State journal entries and accounts to account the above transaction through the salary and wages control account. Calculate the total employee related expenses. As I remember, this is not a past paper question which is I have prepared for you. Yes. This question explores a new area, but this knowledge is important for other questions as well. Category, the 4 categories, but not 4 employees, 4 employee categories. All the additions given together, right? The basic salary and the additions, the OTO, whatever, we don't know, but the additions. let's see. Production employees production supervisors, administrative staff, sales employees. Shall I show the calculations in thousand? 200,000, 100,000, 160, 100. Additions 50, 30, 40, 20. The gross salary is 250, 130, 200, 120. The deductions, all employees are entitled for EPF and ETF contributions 10 and 15. Okay, the EPF 10%. It's based on the basic salary. And 2% from the gross salary is deducted for from every employee for the welfare fund. That's from the gross salary. Welfare fund. 2% කියලා කියන්නේ 5, 2.6, 4, 2.4. Are these? That's all. No more deductions. Take the net salary. 250 25ක් අඩු කරන්න 225යි. 130න් 12.6 අඩු කරන්න ඒ කියන්නේ 120 117.4 නේ. 200 minus 20, that is 180. 120 minus 10 is 110. See, 107.6. මෙහෙමද? එහෙමද? Gross salary 700, next salary 630. Yes. ETF calculations, are those incorrect? This should be 3. This also should be 3. This should be 4.8. වැරදිලානේ. මම අරන් දෙන 2%. Now is it okay? 16.8. මම අරන් දෙන 2% එකයි. වැරදිලා. Now is it correct? This is correct. හරි. දැන් චුට්ටක් බලන්න පොඩි අලුත් දෙයක්. This is something very important. අහගන්න. මේක සමහරවිට අහලා නැති දෙයක්, ඔය හිතන්නේ නැති දෙයක්. If I show you the format of profit and loss statement starting from the manufacturing account, right? Starting from the manufacturing or the production cost sheet. I'm going to show you the places where the employee related expenses are there. If this is your profit and loss account, profit and loss statement, in the manufacturing account, you know, the direct labor is there. In the manufacturing account, you show the direct labor, direct labor cost. In the manufacturing account itself, there is production overhead cost. Under the production overhead cost also the indirect labor is there. Right? Then the manufacturing account is over. But in the trading account part, you don't see any labor cost. In the trading account part, we don't see any labor cost. When it comes to the profit and loss section, there are administration expenses. And there are distribution expenses. Therefore, if I say, nice. Right. Where I have drew the lines are not good. Now, okay. So, this is the manufacturing account part. Production cost sheet. This is the profit and loss statement part. Do you agree with me? Employee related expenses are stated with respect to the profit and loss statement in these four areas. In the production cost sheet as well as in the profit and loss statement. Altogether there are four places to show the employee related expenses. Do you agree with me? Think and say, is there any place? Is there any more place to show the employee related expense? I think no. No more places. Therefore, I have discussed with you, right? I have discussed with you, when you calculate the gross salary of the employees, the gross salary is the amount which you have to show in your profit and loss statement. Remember, not only in your profit and loss statement, in all the places you need to show the gross salary. The gross salary of the production employees 250 should be a cost coming under direct labor cost. This is the production employee salary. When you take the production supervisor's salary, this should come under production overhead. When you take the salary of the administrative staff, this 200 should come under administrative expenses. Administration salary. And when you take the salary of the sales staff, that should come under distribution expenses. Salary of sales staff. Is it clear? The production employee salary is 250 years. Is it understood, please? Right. Not only these. You know, the employer's contributions, EPF and ETF, those also should be charged to profit and loss. What is the place? You show this 84, EPF employer's contribution. What is the place to show that? Not in SOFP, in profit and loss. I'm asking normally EPF and ETF we show under where? Administration expenses. Right. You all are answering. We show that under administration expenses. Up to now in all the questions we showed that under administration expenses. But you remember there is something very important. Many students make this mistake in the exam if we haven't taught you, right? So that's why I prepared this question to emphasize this. You must know this. When you categorize EPF and ETF, when you take EPF and ETF, that also should be categorized under these categories. That may be something new for you. So the argument is, if the employer of the business pays any EPF or ETF for the direct employers, production employees, EPF of the production employees, this 30 should be a direct labor cost. This is EPF based on this salary. And the ETF with respect to this salary also should be a part of, say expenses part, should be a part of the direct labor cost. And this 15, EPF 15% calculated based on production supervisor's salary, this 15 should be a production overhead cost, EPF expense here. And the respective ETF also should be recorded under production overhead cost. Similarly, EPF of administration employees should be a part of the administration expense account. This is the EPF expense of them. ETF employers contribution on the administration employees salaries also should be a part of administration expenses. When it goes to distribution expenses, salary of the sales employees 120, EPF contribution on their salary is 15. ETF contribution of their salary is 16.8. Sorry, 3. I think that should be a new thing for you. Is it so? And you understood something. Normally this is tested in some papers I have seen. The most important thing is, did you understand the argument behind this? That should be in this way. Ne? If the salary is categorized to different categories, what the point to show all the EPF and ETF and administration expenses? That should be wrong. This should be the answer for the second part. Calculate the salary related expenses stated in profit and loss statement under the following categories. You have to show this. Third one, state journal entries. I am not going to do. Fourth one, calculate the total employee related expenses. Answer for the fourth one. This is the answer for the second one. This is the answer for the first one. Answer for the third one, I skip, you know that. How to write the journal entry starting from the gross salary. In the total employee related expenses, the gross salary 700, employers contribution EPF 84, ETF 16.8. This is the total employee related expenses 800.8. හදලා පෙන්න ගන්න තනියම. හදලා ඉවරලා කියන්න. Let's go to the other two questions. Question number 8. මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න ළමයි. The following information has been extracted from the payroll of Abdul PLC for the months of March and February 2013. March, February. Basic salary, overtime, employee provident fund EPF, employee 10%, employer 15%, employees trust fund ETF contribution 3%, deductions, membership fees to the trade union, recovery of staff loan. Additional information, every month salary is paid on the 10th day of the following month. Every month EPF and ETF contributions are remitted on the 15th day of the following month. Required employee related expenses of the company for the month of March 2013 indicate each item separately. Then there are some accounts. Employee related expenses for the month of March. March hadala balum. You know, to take the employee related expenses, first you need the gross salary. Then employer contribution of EPF and ETF. The basic salary is 8,000, overtime 500, that is 8,500. Then EPF, %, 1,200. ETF 240. හරිද බලන්න මේක මෙහෙම දාවේ. Is it 9,940? Did you get this 9,940? Then බලන්න draw these accounts. Salary control account. Salary payable account. EPF payable. That's all. Salary control account, salary payable account, and EPF payable account of the company. Now, you don't forget here there are some important details. Every month salary is paid on the 10th day of the following month. Always the salary is paid on the 10th day of the next month. Every month EPF and ETF contributions are remitted on the 15th day of the following month. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ මාසේ salary එක ගෙවන්නේ ඊළඟ මාසේ. මේ මාසේ EPF ETF දෙක pay කරන්නේ ඊළඟ මාසේ. එතකොට ඔයා බලන්න මෙතන මේවා balances තියෙනවා නේද? ඒක තමයි point එක. You know, the net salary of a certain month, as per the question, they pay on the next month. Therefore, the last month salary, last month is February, the February salary, the payable amount should be there in the salary payable account. In the salary payable account, the net salary of the previous month should be available. Why? The net salary is the amount finally pay. The basic salary is 700 plus 400 is, 7,000 plus 400 is 7,400. That minus, I am calculating the net salary of the last month. Thus, 7,400 is the gross salary. That minus employee's contribution 700 minus membership fees for the trade union 150. Recovery of the staff loan 200. This is the net salary of the last month. That is 6,350. In the salary payable, the opening balance should be 6,350. And when it goes to the EPF, EPF of a certain month, the EPF liability of a certain month will contain the total EPF, both contribution of employer and employee. That is 10% and 15%, again 1,750. This is the place you have to start. Tell me whether you put these balances. මේවා හරියට දාපු කට්ටිය නෝ නම් කියන්න බලන්න. This is correct. Dinuli says correct. Who else? Anittage වැරදිද? Didn't others put this? Right. හරි. දැන් උතනින් එහාට normal. Take the gross salary of this month, March. Basic salary plus overtime, 8,500. Salary account debit. Salary control account credit. Deductions. EPF of employer. Let's take employee, 800. Credit that this to EPF liability at the payable. And take the contribution of employer, credit that here. That is debited to EPF expense. Then ETF no need to prepare, question doesn't ask. Deductions. Membership fees for the trade union 250, debit it here. Trade union contribution. Recovery of staff loan 450. Then you can take the salary payable. That is transferred to salary payable account. $7,000. Credit here. This is salary control. And don't forget, within this month they should have paid this salary. This 6,350 should have paid in cash. This 1,750 also should have paid in cash. But this is the payable amount at the beginning of the period that should have paid within this month. These are the accounts they ask you to prepare. Hari. Number 9. Right? Shall I discuss the 9th one also? You want more time to write down this? මේක ලියන්න තව වෙලාව නේද? Right. Let's go to the last part. Right, sorry. Now, the salary related information of Northern Tire Manufacturers PLC for the month of March 2024 is given below. Here the production workers, production supervisors, production managers, administrative assistants, right? You are given the basic salary. මෙතන මේ තව පොඩි දෙයක් උගන්වන්න තියෙනවා. මේ ගානේ පොඩි දෙයක් ඉගෙන ගන්න තියෙනවා. ඒක තමයි අවසාන දේ අපිට මේ lesson එකේ තියෙන, right? Incentive payment based on piece rate, overtime, traveling allowance, bonus based on company profit. The gross salary, the deductions, recovery of staff loan, EPF contribution 10%, net salary, the company contributions 15% and ETF 3%. Additional information, the incentive payment relates to completion of an order to manufacture a special category of tires required the followings for the month ending 31st March 2014, showing the composition of each item separately, direct wages, employee related expenses included in the production overheads, employee related total expenses. I think now you can do this. As we discussed the last question today, with that knowledge you can handle this. I'll give you 2-3 minutes. Try to provide the correct answers. right? In this occasion, you need to calculate the direct wages first. Direct wages are the wages paid for the direct production employees, right? Direct wages are paid for the direct production employees. Then whether production workers basic salary 5,000, incentive payment based on piece rate 2,500, you have to take incentive. Here there is something very important you must learn. I think you all remember today in the last question I explained the salary should be categorized. If something is paid for the production employees, that should go to the production salary. And the EPF and ETF expenses with respect to the production salary should be categorized there. Right? You all remember. But remember, if the employees are paid a certain payment based on the profit of the company, to whom it is paid is not your concern. To whom it's paid, no problem. If the payment is based on the profit of the company, the total payment, irrespective to the person, it's paid, irrespective the person it's paid, whether it is to production employees, indirect production employees, administration employees, or the distribution employees, remember that expense should be categorized as a distribution cost. Normally in the exams, this is tested in this way. Bonus paid for each type of employees, but based on the net profit. If the bonus is paid on the profit, don't categorize that under different categories. You must show the bonus payment under distribution expenses. Is it clear? Bonus paid based on the net profit. If something is paid based on the net profit, remember that bonus is what? That bonus is what? It's a distribution expense. Is it clear? Profit එක මත බේස් වෙලා මොකක් හරි පේමන්ට් එකක් එම්ප්ලොයිස් ලට කරනවා නම් ඒ පේමන්ට් එක මොන එම්ප්ලොයිට කළත් එතන කාටද කරන්න කියලා බලන්න එපා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකේ ලොජික් එක මේකයි. ඒ පේමන්ට් එක නිසා අපේ ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එකට ඉම්පැක්ට් එකක් වුණාද නැද්ද? ප්‍රොෆිට් එක ඇනුවලි බලලා ඒක මත අපි එයාට ගෙවනවා නම් බෝනස් එකක්. එහෙම කියලා ප්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එක ඉන්ක්‍රීස් වෙලා නැහනේ නේ. ඒ පේමන්ට් එක කරලා තියෙන බෝනස් එක ප්‍රොෆිට් එක වැඩි නිසානේ. ඉතින් ඒ කරන පේමන්ට් බෝනස් පේමන්ට් එක ඒ නිසා production cost එකක් වෙන්න බෑනේ. Why? With that expense, the production has been increased. That has not contributed for the production. Therefore, remember, if a certain payment is made to employees based on the profitability of the company, as there are more profits, we pay the bonus to employees on the profits. So that payment, to whom it's paid, not a problem, that should be taken under distribution expenses. So that is the point hidden in this question. That is what they have asked here. If you want, you can write down that using your own terms. Hurry, right. So the direct wages, the basic salary plus incentives, but don't take the bonus, but take the employer's contributions. The direct salary will contain even the employer's EPF and ETF. 750 EPF, ETF 150. This is the total direct wages. Direct wages වලට යන මෙච්චරයි. 8,400. හරිද ඒක? හරියට හදුවද? Is it correct in your books? So raise the hand if you got this answer for this question, 8,400. No one. එතන පොඩි ඉගෙන ගන්න දෙයක් තිබ්බනේ මොකද්ද? මේ පාර්ට් එක මම කලින් ගන්න ඉගෙනුවානේ direct wages වලට මේ දෙක එන්න ඕනේ කියන කලින් එක ඉගෙනුවා. Yes, we did know about the bonus issue. ඒක තමයි මම කියලා දුන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මතක තියාගන්න if the employees are හැබැයි මෙහෙමයි if the bonus is given as he has increased the production, then what do you think? See, we give a certain target to our employees. Our employees ලාට කියන ඔයාලා if you work efficiently, if you manufacture 500 items today, we'll give you a bonus. In that case, where that bonus should be categorized? If the production employees are paid a certain bonus based on the production, we give them a target. If you manufacture more than 500 items a day, then you will be given a bonus. Where you should categorize that bonus? Where you should categorize that bonus? Who answers? Who answers? It's a direct labor cost. Why? With that bonus, the production has been increased. That bonus was given to the employee in order to increase the production. Therefore, that should be a production cost. But if just a payment is made on the net profit, as there is more net profit, on the net profitability, we give all the employees a bonus. Don't take that as a direct cost, either direct cost or the other production. Then, employee related expenses included in production overheads. This is the direct wages, production overheads, make a similar to the previous question. When you take the production overhead, what are the production costs here? The production supervisors and production manager, add these two, 3,000 and 1,500. So the basic salary is 4,500, the total of both. Overtime 500 plus 250, 750. Overtime. Basic salary 4,500. Overtime of both guys 750. Traveling allowance you can take 250 and 150, 400. But don't take the bonus. That plus employers contribution for EPF and ETF at both 450 and 225, 675. ETF 135. Total these. $6,460. Employee related total expenses you have to take in the normal way. Take the total gross salary. Answer for question number 1, question number 2, 3. Take the gross salary there. එතන ප්‍රශ්නේ එතන ගන්න. මොකද anyway the bonus is anyway expense. Gross salary of all the people 7,750, 1,975. That's 2,000, 2,500, 2,500, 10,250, 14,450, 15,150. Is it 15,150? EPF and ETF all. $1,500. ETF 300. Is it 16,950? Make a 14,000. $7,750 plus yes 14,150. Is it now 15,950? It is correct. 15,950. ಹೌದು. මොකද හිතෙන්නේ? Did you understand this? We did all the questions under the labor cost. That means the labor costing part is finished.